You're listening to the Business and Life Conversations podcast with Angela Henderson, episode 97. Hey there, you're listening to the Business and Life Conversations podcast. My name is Angela Henderson, and on this show, we talk about improving your business, life, or both by having amazing and rich conversations with brilliant guests who will inspire you and who will give you tips and tricks to help you grow both in life and in business. Well, hey there, and welcome back to another awesome episode of the Business and Life Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Ange, from Angela Henderson Consulting, where I'm a business consultant and coach who has helped hundreds of amazing women business owners get all the pieces in place to have consistent 5-figure months and then on to 6-figure years without burning out in the process. Today's episode is just me and you hanging out, talking about building your brand and business with human-to-human marketing and why it's a must for your short-term and long-term business growth. I'm going to go in depth about what is human-to-human marketing compared to B2B and B2C, why you need human-to-human marketing in your business like yesterday, and how to use human-to-human marketing in your business for both that long-term and short-term growth. But before we hop straight into this amazing episode, I'd like to remind you that if you enjoy this episode, I would love for you to share a key takeaway, anything really, over on Instagram in your Instagram stories, and tagging me at Angela Henderson Consulting because you would put a smile on my dial. Also, this episode is sponsored by Australia's leading 4-day, 3-night exclusive Women in Business retreat that I run every single year. The retreat is all about focusing on women being able to have the chances to connect, refocus, learn, and grow so that they can grow both in life and in business. And my keynote for this event is my good friend and the most amazing human ever, Denise Duffield-Thomas, not to mention the other 8 amazing speakers that are going to be there. This retreat is being held from November 5th through to November 8th, 2020 at the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. It's an exclusive event with only 50 tickets being sold, and I can confirm that we already have sold 45% of tickets at this stage. I also have a 6-month payment plan in order to ensure you have access to this amazing event to help you grow your business, while at the same time allowing you to have the cash flow you need to keep everything else running in your day-to-day business. To learn how you can secure the remaining tickets, you can head to angelahenderson.com.au and simply click on retreat. Now let's jump into all things human-to-human marketing. So you will know, if you've been online for any amount of time, that it is noisy. It is so noisy. You are competing with YouTube, you're competing with Instagram, Facebook, you're competing with other businesses out there every single day, every single minute. And you have to start cutting through this noise. You have to start being able to stand out in this crowded space. And one of the primary ways that you can do this is through human-to-human marketing. Human-to-human marketing will help you to increase your visibility, your reach, and ultimately your sales. So if you're struggling with visibility, reach, and sales, I strongly encourage you to listen to this short and powerful episode. So what is human-to-human marketing? Let's start by that so that we have a very clear understanding, so we're all on the same page moving forward for this episode. Human-to-human marketing pertains to the experience and interaction one faces with a particular brand. Let me repeat that. Human-to-human marketing pertains to the experience and interaction one faces with a particular brand. I'll give you an example. When I was first pregnant with my first child, Finley, he's 10 now, so that would be almost 11 years ago if you take the whole pregnancy, I had cravings every single day for these muffins at this beautiful local cafe in Milton, Queensland. And when I say muffins, these muffins are like the size of my hand. They've got these crunchy tops. They were filled with flavor of raspberries and blueberries, and I would have a Diet Coke every single day. Literally, those were my cravings. One of the muffins, can of Diet Coke. So when I started going to this beautiful restaurant called Tognini's, which is still open, and we still go there daily. Weekly, I should say. when we would go there, initially they just kind of knew me like, hi, can I take your order? But as I started going more and more regularly, the experience and the interaction, that human to human marketing became more and more evident. They then started knowing me by name. They started asking me how my pregnancy was going. Then Finley came along and they started building a relationship with them. They know what we want when we go in there in regards to our order every time. And it goes on and on. And then came along Chloe. And yes, so every time we go there, it's just this beautiful experience and interaction. So I would almost bet my bottom dollar that you've got similar experiences. It could be the hairdresser that you've been going to forever, or that favorite little cafe that you like, or the favorite cinema. Whatever it is, you have human to human marketing in different parts of your life that you've experienced. And when you've experienced it, you want more. And in my instance, it has now been 11 years. I literally figured out that I've spent close to $15,000 in Diet Cokes and muffins over the time. And you know what? I'll keep going back because, again, it's a sense of community. So I want you to think about right now, if you genuinely are honest, how much human to human marketing do you have in your brand? How much experience and interaction are people having with you? Is it a lot? Is it none? Have you been taught to worry more about the transaction and treating people like the transaction? Because here's the thing, B2B, so business to business, and B2C, business to consumer, in my opinion, is so 1980s. You might be thinking, has Ange lost her mind? I'm not saying that you shouldn't have elements of B2B and B2C in your business. But what I'm saying is you must start thinking about human to human, H to H, or you're going to get left behind. In Australia, back in February 2019, there was a research study done about Australia's level of trust in social media is the world's lowest. Alongside France, Australia is the least trusting country globally. The least trusting country globally. And in this study, what they talk about is 26% of Australians in the study trust social media compared to the global average of 44%. Why? Because businesses are lacking human to human marketing. And in a country like Australia, where they need more and more credibility, more and more touch points, more and more authority in order to bring your customer on the buyer's journey, you have to be thinking about how you can implement human-to-human marketing to make that happen, to speed that up. Another example that I want to share with you is this beautiful man who does this really, really well by the name of Lou Mangello. He owns a podcast and produces it called WDW, Walt Disney World. Now, he's not affiliated in any way with Walt Disney World. It's his own separate thing. But through this man who I met when I originally over in the Philippines when I did a mastermind was, it's this thing about hugs and a handshake. And what Lou did for his business is that when he would go to Chicago or he would be in, say, LA, he would tweet his fans and message his fans and email his fans and say, listen, I'm going to be at this cafe. Come and meet me. Everyone will get a hugs and a handshake. Now, literally, first time he did it, 10 or 20 people showed up. Next time, 50 people. Next time, 100. Next time, Lou now has to literally block out entire restaurants because people show up. Because Lou creates an experience and interaction every single time by making sure that people have a hug and a handshake. To the point that Lou still answers every single email himself because he believes if people take the time to email him, he can show them the respect and give him that time back. To the fact that when I last spoke with Lou, he still had never paid for a single bit of advertising. Why? Because all of these people that he has taken time to build trust and credibility and authority with, they do the marketing for him. To the point where Walt Disney Cruise Lines team up with Lou. And within hours, the entire cruise line is sold out because everyone knows that Lou will give those people boarding on that cruise a hug and a handshake. Again, human-to-human marketing at its best. That experience and that interaction that Lou has. And here's the thing. One of the most favorite sayings I go by is conversations equal conversions. And when you bring in human-to-human marketing, conversations will naturally flow. They are there. And when you have those conversations and stop treating your clients and customers like a number, like a transaction, and start treating them and having more conversations, and you're creating amazing interactions and experiences through human-to-human marketing through those conversations, conversions are going to happen. One of the most powerful quotes that I've read before is, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Again, human to human marketing allows you to connect with people. It allows those people to feel you. And when you create that emotional connection, you stand out. So why do you need human to human marketing? There's three main reasons that I found over my time in being in business for almost a decade now. And then reason number one, this is a very staggering statistic. So please listen carefully. Reason number one why you need human to human marketing is most recent studies have concluded that your customers are human. Let's repeat that. Most recent studies have concluded that your customers are human. Imagine that. Imagine that your customers are human beings who feel and want experiences and interactions with your brand. Number two why you need human to human marketing is you must stand out and be the purple cow. There's this amazing book by Seth Godin who talks about, and it's literally called The Purple Cow. And in one of the opening chapters, what he talks about is this. Him and his family are driving along France in this beautiful countryside. And they're seeing like lush hills and lush greens and everything's amazing. Then all of a sudden these cows start to come up. And these cows are amazing. There are brown cows and white cows and black cows. But eventually the scenery and those cows, they just become downright boring. But Seth goes on to say, could you imagine a purple cow? Now that would be cool. That would be remarkable. That would allow you to stand out. But even so, after a while, purple cows would equally become boring. So I tell you this because reason number two why you need human to human marketing is you must stand out and be the purple cow. You must stop blending in with what everyone else is doing on the internet. You must take a stance and you must be the purple cow, creating those amazing interactions and experiences with your people. Reason number three why you need human to human marketing is emotional motivators drive consumer behavior. And when you drive consumer behavior, it equals sales. Think about that. Emotional motivators drive consumer behavior with equal sales. So if you are creating human to human marketing by having those rich experiences and those interactions, you're going to create that emotional motivator and sales will come. Similar to what I said earlier, conversations equal conversions. Now, you see, most people are used to also a traditional sales process where you might have a prospect, you might qualify someone, you might present, you might overcome objections, you might close, you might follow up, and you might provide customer service. But in this amazing book called The Go-Givers by Bob Burg and John David Mann, a book that I've read over and over and over again, they talk about more the human-to-human marketing sales process. They talk about if you create value, you touch people's lives. And if you touch people's lives, you build networks. And when you build networks, you be real. And when you are real, you are staying open. And when you do all of this, you become profitable. Because you are leading with value. You are touching people's lives. You're building networks. You're being real. You are staying open. Of course, you're going to become profitable. But again, this sales process has to be implemented with that beauty of the human-to-human marketing. Also, in the amazing book, The Go-Givers, which I think we need to touch upon, is there are 5 laws of stratospheric success. And what they talk about, again, really goes back to that human-to-human element. And they talk about the 5 laws. And law number 1 is the law of value. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. Let's repeat that. The law of value. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. Amazing. Imagine again treating your customers like humans and not as a transaction. Number 2, the law of compensation. Your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. The law of influence. Your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. Human to human marketing. The law of authenticity. The most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. And the law of receptivity. The key to effective giving is to stay open to receiving. Again, I cannot emphasize the importance of thinking about how you are implementing on a single day, week, and month, human-to-human marketing into your business. Now, I often get asked, well, Ange, how do you use human-to-human marketing to increase your visibility, reach, and sales? And there's a variety of ways that I do this. One, I show up in my Facebook groups, the Australian Business Collaborative, which is a free group. We've got about 6,100 amazing business owners from around the world over in there. And I show up when others, mentors of mine, have told me not to. Outsource that, get your team to do it. But here's the thing, because I show up, because I create an interaction and an experience with those people in that group, my business has grown exponentially. I get PMs, I get DMs, I get emails saying, thank you for showing up. It's a unique point of difference. And as I would say, I'm being the purple cow. I work hard to try and remember particular things relevant to those communities. Yes, it's 6,100 people, but there are a lot of people that are showing up to my live videos. I do my research. I try and figure out, are they in Melbourne? Do they have kids? Do they like apples? Do they like Nutella? What do they like? And I engage in conversations with them. I had one beautiful lady reach out to me once and say, thank you so much. This is the first time I had an adult conversation besides speaking and singing to my baby in days. Thank you for recognizing me. I also send personal gifts to each of my VIP coaching clients, each of my 12-month group coaching clients, and also to my 6-month mastermind clients. These are personalized gifts, all right, that has their name, the year that their business was established, etc. Again, human-to-human marketing. I'm creating an experience and an interaction when they receive those personalized gifts. Not a pen that's got my name on it or a notepad that's got my name on it. There's no emotional connectiveness with there. How many pens and pieces of paper have you thrown away? But those signs and gifts that I create every single time those new clients come on board are hanging in Facebook Lives, Instagram stories. They're less likely to throw that away because, again, there's that personal element, the experience and interaction. I also ring all of my new coaching clients, regardless of what program they have signed up for me. I'll give you an example. I was flying to the Maldives for a mastermind a few years ago, and on my way, I had to stop in Singapore for, I think it was a 5 or 8 hour layover. I can't remember. It was a long time. We had launched the week before. We closed cart literally at midnight, and I had to be at the airport at like 8 or 9 the next day. And so as I boarded my plane and as I got into Singapore, I had my list of all of the numbers of all the new people that had joined, and I just used Skype credit, and I rang everyone. Now, the majority of those people, but 2, did not even answer. All right, probably because, again, most people don't answer phone numbers and no longer know. But of the 2 people that answered, they're like, what do you mean this is Ange? Ange is on the way to the Maldives. This can't be her. I'm like, no, it's me. I'm in Singapore. And they were absolutely mind blown. And the other person was just like, thank you. Thank you for picking up the call. Again, I created an experience and an interaction, human to human marketing. I was the purple cow. I also, in my 4-day, 3-night Australia's Leading Women in Business retreat, I put about 2.5, 3 hours aside, and I ring every participant that comes, 50 people. I call them, I ask them how they're feeling about the event. Are they nervous? What are they most excited for? Etc. Because I want to understand what they're thinking before the event so I can make it an absolutely epic event. And again, the comments I get from people is, thank you so much. Nobody has ever done that. Again, the purple cow. So as you can see, or no, you can't see me obviously, but you could probably hear the passion I have about making sure that you are incorporating human-to-human marketing in your overall business strategy to increase your visibility, your reach, and your sales. Because I'm here to tell you this, human-to-human marketing is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And if you don't find ways to make your customers feel special and validated and have those amazing experience and interactions with you and your brand and your community and your team members, you're going to lose them to a company that does. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be losing any customers to anyone. And that, my friends, is human-to-human marketing. And before we sign off, please remember that my team and I will be putting together the whole transcription for this episode at angelahenderson.com.au. And as I mentioned earlier, if you enjoy this episode, I'd love for you to share it, especially over on your Instagram stories and tagging me at Angela Henderson Consulting, or you can share it wherever you want. It doesn't really matter. Just it would make me feel so happy. I also would love if you could subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out on any future episodes and leaving a review, because that too would be equally awesome. Thanks so much for being here today. Have a fabulous day, and I look forward to you joining me again next week for another amazing episode of the Business and Life Conversations podcast. Have an epic day, everyone. Thanks for listening to the Business and Life Conversations podcast with Angela Henderson. www.angelahenderson.com.au